there's a major shift coming for XRP and possibly the entire crypto market within the next few days, maybe even sooner. And the big question is, are you ready? Whether you're bullish or bearish, it's a moment of high anticipation, and that's what we need to focus on today. From my point of view, there's a lot of optimism in the air. Former President Trump recently claimed that the stock market is showing impressive strength now that people have adjusted to the new tax norms. Is that truly the case? It seems like a familiar narrative, but some argue that the real story isn't being told. Remember what we said about black swan events are those unpredictable shocks to the system that shake markets hard. The first time such news hits, it causes major disruption. But if the same type of news keeps repeating, its impact starts to fade unless another unexpected jolt accelerates the situation again. That's what's happening with taxes and their effect on the market. It's no longer shaking things up like it used to, which is actually a very bullish indicator. Meanwhile, one of Trump's economic advisors hinted that insider trading at the White House might not be so far-fetched either, maybe even inevitably though. Of course, they're not the ones making the rules. On the crypto side, we're seeing some serious whale activity. A massive XRP transfers are taking place, with nearly 70 million XRP recently moved. It's unclear whether these whales are accumulating or simply relocating their assets, but something big is brewing. It's becoming increasingly clear that XRP's period of stability can't last much longer. A big move either upward or downward is imminent, possibly within hours or days. Right now, technical indicators suggest XRP needs to hold above $2.10 to maintain bullish momentum, and so far, it's doing a great job staying strong. Positive divergences in the charts often lead to a retest of those differences, and while those retests usually fail, XRP is holding far above those levels, which is a great sign. That's why I'm leaning bullish at the moment. Also, it's crucial for bulls that XRP holds strong, because if it drops and falls below key moving averages, that could trigger a deeper downward trend. However, if XRP can keep this momentum, we could see serious gains of possibly $1.30 for XRP and $169,000 for Bitcoin, according to some projections. Still, we have to remain cautious. If the market fails to hold these levels, things could turn bearish fast. In the meantime, rumors are swirling that we might hear something significant about the SEC case, perhaps even a settlement by the 16th. There's also chatter about Paul Atkins being appointed to the SEC, although his official swearing-in is still pending a few formalities, including sign-off from Trump. This development could happen any day now, and it might be the catalyst we've all been waiting for. So keep your eyes on the charts and your ears on the news, because the lead up to April 16th could be packed with game-changing updates. Whether you're a bull or a bear, it's clear that something big is around the corner, and surprisingly, XRP still remains the least correlated with other major cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's an unusual but fascinating dynamic, and it adds another layer of unpredictability to what's already a high-stakes moment for the entire market. That's some wild news. It really could mean we're heading toward a major shift, possibly even a separation in the crypto space. We've already talked about the growing belief that XRP might overtake Ethereum as the top altcoin in 2025. And now, more people are starting to seriously believe that Ethereum's decade-long dominance could be challenged for the first time. Honestly, they've got a point. Some projects are even migrating from Ethereum to XRP's ledger, and it makes sense when you think about it. XRP offers significantly lower fees and doesn't contribute to carbon emissions, unlike Ethereum, which still has environmental concerns tied to it. And now, with Ethereum dipping back to levels seen during the last bear market, it's clear things are shaky for ETH holders. It's almost like karma, considering how the XRP community was mocked in the past when Ethereum seemed untouchable. But now, XRP seems to be on a mission to reclaim everything. On top of that, some indicators suggest cryptocurrencies, especially ones like XRP, are incredibly undervalued right now, which has investors nervous, but it could actually be a bullish sign. If you look back at historical data, March just recorded the most intense selling pressure in over 20 years, surpassing even the 2020 COVID-era crash. These massive outflows often precede strong rallies, so it's not something to ignore. In fact, when you compare current market sentiment to that of previous financial crises, it gets even more interesting. Bearishness in the stock market is peaking at 58.9% of investors were pessimistic about the next 6 months as of April 9th. Only slightly down from 61.9% the week before. That's close to levels seen during the 2008 crash and even during the bear market of 2022. The number of people feeling bearish has remained above 55% for 7 straight weeks, matching the record streak from 1990. This kind of persistent negative sentiment is rare. It didn't even last this long during the 2008 crisis, and historically, it tends to show up near market bottoms. So yeah, things feel rough right now, but that could be a sign we're actually close to a turnaround. Retail investors are mostly sitting out at this point, and we're seeing sentiment metrics like how often certain cryptos are mentioned either at all-time lows. Oddly enough, that's bullish. When interest is low and the hype is gone, that's often when the biggest opportunities arise. It reminds me of the idea I had, launching a joke coin at the exact bottom of the market and just riding the wave back up. Sounds crazy, but timing like that can work. We're also watching indicators like crypto chatter and social activity drop off, returning to levels we last saw around August 2023, and that silence could be signaling that something big is about to happen. So, will we pump soon or not? It feels like we're standing at a crossroads. Either we take one more dip and finally hit that true bottom, maybe even around $30, or we begin the next leg up. But if we do see one more drop, that might be the golden moment to get in. Meanwhile, the global money supply is increasing rapidly, and with more countries printing money to boost liquidity, the US might eventually follow suit. Regardless of the Fed's current stance. They may call it something else like buybacks instead of QE, but at the end of the day, it's still injecting liquidity into the system. And that, ultimately, could be what ignites the next big rally across all markets.